Hey guys, it's Daisy here. No makeup. My God, my skin looks really good. Um, so it's been a while since I've made a video on this channel, but Banish, we've been in business for how long? A long time. 5 years, 5.5 years, almost 6 years. We're coming up on our 6th birthday. I put the first video on Banish in October of 2013, and now it's August 2019, and man, does time go by fast. So I wanted today to kind of talk to you and be real about the realities of entrepreneurship and starting a business. I know a lot of people like to glamorize things, and I realized, a lot of press like to reach out to you because they love the story. They love, the girl who built her own empire from a YouTube video. And all of that is definitely true, but I also want to share all of the, all of the behind the scenes and what it's really like, because it's not glamorous and I can't stand glamorizing something. I'm just I'm just not that person. I'll tell you like it is, So I'm going to give you some things that they never tell you about entrepreneurship. Okay. I would say one of the harder things about entrepreneurship, especially in the 6th year of doing this, and this isn't even, I've been working on this for 6 years. I've been working on my YouTube channel since 2010, 2011. So it's almost been 9-10 years of me grinding and hustling and just driving and pushing in this. And while I wouldn't do anything else, it does get very overwhelming, because for those 10 years, you never really take a break. Even if you do go on vacation, or even if you, do things, your mind is still racing. Your mind is still running. You're still thinking of ideas. You're thinking of situations. You're thinking of conversations that you've had with people. You're thinking of, do I do A, B, C, D, or E? And it never goes away. You can't just take a break. I have found, for me, the only times when I'm actually not thinking about work is when I work out, and that's probably why I do work out so much, because it gives me that 30 minutes, that 45 minutes of just don't think about, how you're going to respond to this email or whatnot. So I would say that has been really hard, and I'll admit that it wears you down, over 10 years, over 6 years, it wears you down. And because your life is constantly surrounded by the business, you don't have time or hobbies for much else. I don't enjoy the things I used to when I was younger. I used to love shopping. I really don't like shopping anymore, because shopping is this added stress of decision making. I don't like grocery shopping. I don't like cooking. I don't read books that are not related to the business. I don't really do anything, which is really sad, other than working out, spending time with my family. I don't really do anything else. I don't want to say I don't have any friends, but the people who are closest to me right now are my forum mates from EO. And those are people we actually meet very structurally once a month, and we discuss our most vulnerable and pain points in our businesses and personal lives. And that, I think, is it sad that, these people are my closest friends when you're in a structured club? But I think for entrepreneurs, it's really hard to have friends, because you don't you need to schedule reoccurring events every month to maintain these friendships, which I don't think people do, or they think it's weird. I can't just because I can't just go somewhere, on a Saturday night. You can't, people are always asking me, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, do you want to do that? No, I can't. I just can't, because all my time is scheduled. And if you want to schedule something with me, you got to book 2 months in advance, and usually it doesn't happen. So I don't know if it's sad or whatnot. This is my life. This is the life I chose. This is the path I decided to go on. But I want people to understand, people can't just call me up and say, hey, Daisy, you want to see a movie Thursday night? No, I can't do that. I have stuff to do. I have a company to run. I have people to pay, and, vendors to pay, and law firms to pay and all that stuff. So, yeah, I want people to be very much aware of that. So the first thing is that it just never stops, and you can never take a break. And I have noticed the physical toll on me with my body and all that kind of stuff. And it's not like gaining weight or whatever, but it's like, I don't know, just little things here and there. I feel like after a while, it's like, what do you call it? It's like a tire being run out. Tire being run out. Yeah. Okay, so then the second thing that nobody tells you about running a business is, people are really hard. People are really hard to manage. Working with people are really difficult. You realize people don't work as hard as you. And I mean, I understand, like, why would they, right? I get it. But I don't know. I kind of felt like, I kind of realized that, like, in my life, throughout my life, I just work so much harder than everybody. I don't know. I feel like I need to work 10 times harder than anyone. I cannot just like get by with not working 10 times harder than anyone. I think it started at a young age in school. I always did the overachievement. I always did the extra credit. Like, I was the one doing all of the extra credit possible. And like, if people spent 5 hours on a project, I would spend 50 hours on a project. You know, like, I was one of those people. So I work really, really hard. And I realized that not everyone works as hard as I do, which is okay. It's probably healthier, but I don't know. It was kind of like this like slap in the face, like, Daisy, you actually work really hard, and to expect others to work as hard as you do is not realistic sometimes. And I think managing people is so difficult because you cannot control people. You cannot, make them better. You cannot make them better at their job. They have to make themselves better. And as much as you want to help people, sometimes, they need to do things on their own. And sometimes they're not the right fit, which is so painful for me because I don't know. I feel like because you've been working with someone for so long and you've invested in them and you've taught them and you've mentored them, and it becomes like a relationship, and then when it doesn't work out, it's like, oh, like, it's really painful. Maybe I take it too personally, but I do know, a lot of people are like a lot of people in I feel like they're like just fire people or like let people go like this. But I like agonize and think about it for a really long time, which I think is probably not the healthiest. So that's really hard. And that way I would say is the most stressful part of the business, working with people. If you can't get some product right, if you can't get your website to work, if you can't, get whatever to work, that's easy. That stuff is easy fix. But when you want someone to change, that is so, so difficult. So yeah. And every time, it doesn't work out with someone, to me, it feels like a breakup. Like, it's that traumatic for me. Okay. The next part. So I think people think that entrepreneurship is great because you get to make money and fly in private jets. And by the way, I've never flown in a private jet. I really have no desire to fly in a private jet. Isn't it really bad for the environment too? Like, doesn't waste a lot of gas. But people think, oh, you fly in private jets, you have big mansions, you whatever. I would say the hard part about entrepreneurship, and I would say definitely I don't think of money the same way I did maybe 15 years ago. I don't think of money the same way as I did 10 years ago, because for me, 10 years ago, $5 was a lot of money. $10 was a lot of money. Before I purchased like a $10, I don't know. I mean, before I even purchased like a beauty product from Sephora, I would spend hours upon hours researching and wanting to make sure that I like the product and everything, and that like the $50 wouldn't go to waste or whatever. So that I would say is different in the sense I spend money now because I don't spend that amount of time researching for, a product I buy. I just buy products and then I try them, and if I like them, I keep them, and then if I don't, I return them. And a lot of times I value the convenience more than the actual price. So I think that is something that is different in terms of how I spend money. Is I value not wanting to deal with extra stuff and convenience more so than the price itself. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I know some people, they'll park like 10 blocks away in like 100-degree heat to save $20 in parking fees. And now I don't do that. That used to be me, and now I don't do that because I feel like shit after walking 10 blocks in 100-degree heat. But I would say what is really stressful about money as an entrepreneur is, as a business, you are always pressured to grow the company. And by growing the company, you need to invest in the company. And when you invest in the company, I'm not talking about like $50, $100. I'm talking about $50,000, $100,000. That is batshit crazy. Like, that is really, really scary. To think of, this could be a house that you buy in California and you're investing in this new launch or in this new thing or in this, endeavor. And it might not work out. And that is where it really scares me. Like, that is like terrifying to me. But at the same time, I know I need to do that. But yeah, that I think is hard. So yes, you do have the flexibility of being able to have more money, but at the same time, it's so scary because in order to make the business grow and in order to innovate and in order for your business not to die, you have to invest the money. You have to reinvest the money back into your company and take new risks and launch new products and try new initiatives. And again, let's say you invest like $300,000 in something, it doesn't work. And then you might invest another $200,000 in something else, it doesn't work. And you're hoping out of the 10 times you're investing in something, one time it's gonna work, or out of the 20 times, one time will be a home run. But you also have to think that everything else, all the money that you spent before, it has to have, like, that home run must be so big, it must compensate for all the losses you've had. So that's also very stressful. So don't think like, oh, just because an entrepreneur has all this money, they can just like wallow and like fly private jets and like, like drink. I don't know what's the expensive champagne. What is it? I don't know what it is. I am so like clueless when like people could give me like cheap, like dollar store wine and I wouldn't know the difference, honestly. But you can drink that expensive stuff, but it's not like that. No, because you have to constantly reinvest in it. And that's where it gets really, really scary, because it's your money. It's not like, unless you're a publicly traded company, unless you've had like privately backed investors, yeah, okay, that could be a different story, but it's your money. And so that's scary. That's scary if you lose a lot of your money on something that you hoped would work out. That's really, really terrifying. Other truths. I would say, not only is it a lonely experience, I don't know, it's a lonely experience. I think there's so few women too, so few female entrepreneurs. I think it makes it so much lonelier. Because I see a lot of guys, what they do is they go mountain biking or rock climbing with the guys. They'll go on a guy's vacation or whatever with their guy entrepreneur friends. They'll hang out, they'll talk business, they'll talk, strategies and stuff. But with women, we can't just like do that, And especially being a young woman, you think it's advantageous, but at the same time, like, it's very hard to find people who are similar to you. And you can't just like, I would love to have a group of successful, badass female, entrepreneurs, and we would go get our hair blown out, go to a spa, take a girls trip, talk business. I mean, get our, mani-pedis and do that, but it just doesn't exist. And I also feel like a lot of women are so much busier than the guys. Like, it's so hard to get time with a female entrepreneur. Like, they're so busy. And I don't know, like, why necessarily, but I think maybe women were more perfectionistic. And a lot of women, if they do have kids, not only are they taking care of their business, but they're also taking care of their kids, right? So, like, whereas the guys, I feel like they have a wife that kind of takes care of the kids, or a stay-at-home wife, and they just go off and like fuck around and do whatever, So I think that is also a difference. And that's why I hate the term girl boss. I hate it so much because I feel like it glamorizes like real female entrepreneurship, which is anything but sexy. It's so lonely. It's so like, people are always thinking that you're someone else. People are always thinking that you're not running the show. Yeah, it's really lonely and it sucks. And a lot of times these girl bosses, they get financed, and you can be creative with how they get financed. And I don't know if it's like, how do I put it? I used to admire people. Like, I used to really admire people like from afar. And now I realize that I can't admire people because sometimes you see what they do behind the scenes and you're like, ooh, you know. I think a lot of people admire people too much and glamorize them too much, and to get to the point of where they are, they must have had some kind of personality disorder. I was watching, anyways, I'm going so off tangent, but I was watching this psychologist, and she said, you know, the CEOs, they have extreme narcissism disorder, which I think is completely accurate, because to get to that level of power and fame and success, you just are willing to do anything, right, to get there. And so I don't think we should glamorize people from afar. I don't think that's, I don't know. I used to glamorize people, now I don't. Okay, so what else? What other truths about entrepreneurship? I mean, I would say that's like stuff that people don't tell you. Again, a lot of people don't do a good job. And also, you can't just hire out your problems. I don't know, people are always like, yeah, I'll hire someone to do that. It's not that easy just to hire someone. Like, a lot of people don't care and won't do as good of a job as you will. So it's, I mean, it's hard. Is it hard to hire people? I don't know. It's just, especially for a small business, like whoever you bring on is so crucial. It's really going to make or break your business. So anyways, I'm like super thirsty, but that's what I wanted to share. And I do want to make this like an actual YouTube video on my channel. I wanted to get my thoughts more laid out. So